Avi Meyer's Northtown News Magazine. Jewish Chicago's out all over the street right now. Go find a copy. Election day is Tuesday. There's no more early voting. You got to get out there and vote. You want to make a difference. You want to vote for the right candidates. We try to present as many really good candidates as we possibly can. And in that vein, I would like to introduce you to my personal favorite person running for governor of the state of Illinois, somebody that I'll vote for, somebody we're endorsing on the show, somebody that's been endorsed by Jewish Chicago. We're talking about Scott Lee Cohen. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me again.
First of all, my pleasure. Thank you very much. I want to say a special hi to Kelly, who helped bring you here, and not to mention Gina.
Yep.
And I hope everybody's basil plants are growing nicely.
They are. Trust me, they are. Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I have a great staff who have worked tirelessly for the job fairs and to help get me elected.
And the job fairs have been quite a success.
They've been very successful. We just had one in Rockford. It's so sad because all these companies, there's nothing left there. Everybody's leaving the state of Illinois, all the businesses. My staff had a very hard time getting companies that were hiring to come to the job fair. It's a shame.
It is a shame, and unfortunately, because of the bad business climate.
Well, I told you this before, since 2003, the state of Illinois has implemented over 300 fees, fines, and penalties. Now, Governor Quinn, if he's to be elected again, wants to raise income tax. Who in the right mind would want to come and open up a store or have a business in Illinois?
Well, actually, no one in their right mind. And when I take a look at all the stores, unfortunately, I mean, Devon Avenue has always been a thriving strip. There's vacancies now.
Yeah.
And it's more than just the general national economy. The government wants to get people, in almost any way they possibly can, and all the overregulation. I was talking to Terry O'Brien, who was telling me about this industrial park just over the border in Wisconsin that's been drawing Illinois businesses like crazy.
Yeah.
Because they have created a much better business climate.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? That's why I pledged as governor not to raise any taxes, because, excuse me, we have got to find ways to bring businesses back, not chase them out.
Yeah.
And by raising taxes, that's what we're doing. We're chasing them out of the state. But I believe that instead of raising the taxes, and I said this to you before too, by bringing the businesses back, you got sales tax, you got payroll tax, you are bringing revenue in a productive, creative way. It's a very progressive system.
Yeah.
These career politicians, the Democrats and the Republicans, they don't get it. They really don't.
No, they don't. And career politicians, I mean, people should realize more and more that there's too many career politicians.
Well, the people have voiced their opinion. That's why I'm running, especially running as an independent, because I've heard from the people that they're sick and fed up with the Republican and Democratic Party.
I don't blame them. I bet there's no way either Quinn or Brady knows the price of milk, eggs, anything.
Well, you know what? Quinn, of course, doesn't have any children. They're all grown. He's not married. He just doesn't get it. I don't know how to explain it to you, but let me bring up an important point here. We're talking about not raising taxes and about how hard I'm trying to find creative ways to bring revenue in. While we're sitting here talking, Governor Quinn is flying around in one of the 16 jet planes or helicopters. As governor, that's the first thing I'm cutting, is this fleet of airplanes and helicopters. It costs us in between $3 and $5 million a year to run those.
Wow.
So, the people of Illinois are suffering, and the governor and legislators are flying around in luxury?
Yeah.
Where's the fairness in that?
Well, you know what? Actually, when I've gone to Springfield last time, I took Amtrak.
What was it, $52 a ticket?
It wasn't terrible.
Listen, I've been campaigning for 2 years.
Yeah.
I put 170,000 miles on my car. And you know what? As governor, unless there's a disaster, God forbid, I'm going to drive from place to place. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm an everyday, regular person. There's no reason for me to be up in a jet plane. There really isn't.
Yeah, no, and not only that, when you're actually traveling by rail or by bus or by car, you're actually seeing something of where you're passing, and you have an idea of what's what, who's who, and where's where.
Absolutely. You know, it's funny because I bring up these places of where we need to cut the waste and mismanagement, and people, you know, what people said to me? Well, it's only $3 million when you're talking about a $14 billion deficit. And I'm thinking to myself, you know, yeah, this is $3 million. The state spent $750,000 on food last year. Every time you cut this waste and mismanagement, you save money. And it all adds up to help reduce the deficit. So I was very upset when they said that to me.
Yeah, people don't understand. You know, it's funny. It reminds me of, I'll show my age. It reminds me of an old statement by Everett Dirksen, who was saying, oh yeah, 100 million here, 100 million there. Pretty soon it adds up to real money.
It does. Well, you know, it blows my mind. But you know, that brings me up to another point. You know, in the state, there are 40 departments under 6 authorities that are purchasing products, goods, and services. Do you have any idea how much we can save by centrally managing the acquisitions and purchasing?
It's, you know what, that's a point that another businessman, Terry O'Brien, made with the county, that it's a good point. Yeah, you're buying in volume then?
You're buying in volume. You have check and balances. You know, I'm not going to my friend to buy it because I'm getting a kickback. You stop a lot of waste and mismanagement.
Yeah, and then you've got duplicate jobs that have no reason to exist.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And, you know, there are people saying we need to shrink the government. What we need to do is we need to consolidate departments and get this state running smoothly in a forward direction. Unfortunately, Governor Quinn does not have the sophistication to do it. He's been our governor now for 2 years. Where has he led us? Nowhere.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah, down. You're right. And the same thing with Senator Brady, who has the audacity to tell the people he's not a career politician. But you know what? He's been a legislator for 17 years.
17 years. He didn't pay any taxes on his legislative salary either in the last year or two, has he?
No. But you know what? I have to say that being a businessman, I understand he had losses. My point is that he is nothing but a liar who will say and do anything to try and get elected. And that's what I want the voters to think about before they go into the voting booth. You know what? I'm not a career politician. I have never lied to the people. I've always been honest and transparent. You know, as I said earlier, since 1972, there's been 79 politicians that have gone to jail for corruption, both Democrats and Republicans. I want the people to think about that when they go into the voting booth. And I've said this myself many times. I don't know everything. And I never pretended or said I knew everything. But that puts me in a unique position to know that Illinois has some of the finest minds in the world right here.
Yeah, some brilliant people.
That we can go to and work collaboratively to come up with the right answers. What I did do, and I didn't tell you, is since the last time I've seen you, I have come up with a great plan to reduce our deficit. And that's online on my website.
And talk about the website, because we're in our last minute right now.
ScottLeeCohen.com. Or you can call the office at 312-441-0300. Let me say one thing really fast. Please, before you go into that voting booth, think about the opportunity to really send a message to the people in Springfield that you're sick and fed up with the current everyday political leadership of the Democrats and Republicans, and vote for me, Scott Lee Cohen, Independent for Governor.
I'll tell you this much, people. I get to see and talk to these people face to face, and I've been following this stuff for an awfully long time. And, you know, a lot of people have been chiding me about my comment in Jewish Chicago when I said that it was a slam dunk to vote for Scott Lee Cohen for lieutenant governor. The same happens to be true for the gubernatorial race. It's a slam dunk. This is a guy you ought to vote for.
We are going to do it November 2nd. And you know what? I'll be right here as soon as we win. And we'll congratulate. We'll have a congratulation dinner or something.
Sounds good. And I'll have a cold Diet Coke available for you.
I would love that.
Okay.
Avi, thank you very much.
Scott, thank you.
Sei gesund.
You too. Don't forget to vote. November 2nd. You got to do it. Thanks, Sonny. Bye.